right, welcome everyone. How energized is everyone after those main stage talks this morning? That was crazy. So many great announcements, and Jonathan and I are thrilled to be here today to talk to you about new ways to grow your business on the Shopify App Store. As you've heard on the main stage talks, apps are an important part of a merchant's business. Whether they're starting their business for the first time or running a very mature one, they rely on apps to help them succeed. And the Shopify App Store is the place that merchants trust and go to discover new apps. With the millions of visitors that the App Store gets every year, our goal is to match each one of those with one of the 2,700 published apps. Last September, we took a huge step forward towards this goal with the launch of the new Shopify App Store. The results have been great, and this has helped us lay a solid foundation. We've seen a 13% relative increase in the installation rate compared to the previous one. This shows that we're better than ever at matching merchants with the right apps. We shared some best practices on how to be successful on the App Store. So using this QR code, you can get a link to our help docs to learn more and get started. We'll be keeping this up to date as we launch many more exciting features throughout the year. Now, with a solid foundation in place, we wanted to continue on the journey of connecting merchants with the right apps. So we're going to be talking to you about 3 of those opportunities today. The first opportunity, and one of the most anticipated features as well, is replying to reviews that merchants have left on your app. So merchants use apps to help them succeed in their business, and they want to ensure that they're finding the right partners to help them with that. So when they select a new app, there's 2 points that merchants look at, and that's really the reviews as well as the support provided, among with many of the other ones. So replying to reviews is not only a great way to address merchant feedback, but you can let future merchants and potential merchants know what kind of support they can expect from you and how engaged you are as a developer. So when merchants are looking at these reviews, they are focusing on what others have left, but also the way that you engage with it. Replying to negative reviews is most impactful. So keeping it relevant, fostering a positive experience through empathy, and being timely are great ways to show merchants that they can trust you with their business. And the results so far have been great. In the first 3 months, we've seen over 8,000 replies. After a reply, 1 in 9 merchants who's left a 1 or 2-star rating either deletes the review or updates it. And when they update it, they increase it by 3 stars on average, which is huge. Now that you have the tools on how to be successful and build merchant trust, let's talk about growing on the App Store. One of the biggest investments that we're making this year is to help you expand your reach globally. Whether that means growing your existing apps that you have today or creating brand new ones, we want to help connect you with merchants around the world. The Shopify App Store does a great job with our core English-speaking merchants and helping them connect with the right apps. However, the demand for Shopify is growing globally. In fact, 47% of the visits that come to the App Store today are from countries where English is not a primary language. This is a huge opportunity where you can be one of the first developers to help this growing demand. And the App Store itself has taken great strides to help these merchants. So as you can see here, a French-speaking merchant in France can now see an App Store experience in a language that they understand, as well as see apps that are more relevant for them. In total, the Shopify App Store is now available in 10 languages around the world, and we'll be adding more throughout the year. Aside from just translating the App Store, we wanted to improve on the discovery experience. So in our example here, a German-speaking merchant in Germany can now see staff picks that are relevant to them. Staff picks are the first thing that merchants see when they come to the homepage, so we've honed in on these and we've rolled it out to 5 different countries around the world. The results have been great so far, so we'll be adding more countries as we go along. Similarly, we've started creating collections for all of these countries. So in total, we have 12 different country collections where we have apps that are relevant to those merchants to help them find the right ones. With all of these things, we want to make sure that any app that you build for our global merchants gets some eyes on them. But the one important thing that you may have noticed is that most of the app listings are still in English, and that's because the app submission form was only designed with one language in mind. We're really excited to announce that today you can create an app listing for the 10 languages that the App Store is available in. This is huge. This is huge. So the updated app submission form, which was released, allows you to easily add new locales. So from here, you can see the 10 languages that the App Store is available in. We're going to be choosing German in our example, and you can click the Add Listing button. From here, you'll fill out the submission form that you're already familiar with, no surprises there, and click Submit All Listings. In turn, we will take this information and show it to the merchants who are browsing the App Store in those languages. Make sure that your app is also localized, because this is what merchants will expect for a complete end-to-end experience. We'll also be using this information to power search. So search today supports all of the languages and the character sets that the App Store is available in. So a Japanese-speaking merchant from Japan can now search for shipping in their native language and get relevant results. So as more apps become localized, we'll be showing them here to them as well. The last piece of the story is being able to target the right merchants. We recognize that not all of the apps that you make are applicable to the merchants around the world. For example, an Australian shipping app is not really relevant to a merchant that is selling in Canada. So this is where compatibility comes into place. So merchants can search, browse, and find all of the apps in the App Store, but we do let them know which apps are not applicable and not compatible with their store. Even though that they can browse, we want them to be able to discover these new apps, and as their businesses are constantly changing and evolving, one day, if they do become compatible, they can start using them right away. Merchants can also visit the app listing to learn more about the app, but we won't let them install it, and they'll know why. By specifying these requirements, you can reduce the number of negative reviews as well as uninstalls that are related to compatibility for your app. In your app listing submission form, all of this is under the installation requirements section. There, you can specify the country that the merchant must have a business address in, the countries that they ship to, the currencies that they sell in, as well as if they have an online store and Shopify point of sale enabled. As you've seen, we're making the App Store even more relevant for our global merchants. This is a great opportunity where you can be one of the first developers to help this growing pool of merchants and in turn, grow your business. I encourage you all to attend Rohit and Shilpa's talk on building for a global audience tomorrow to learn how you can fully capture this opportunity. With that, I'm going to pass it over to John to talk about the third exciting opportunity.
Wow, that was awesome. Thanks, Mladen. Now, the third opportunity is an upcoming one that we're super excited to share with you all today. We know you want to get your app in front of more merchants, so I'm happy to say that we are working on giving app developers the ability to directly advertise on the Shopify App Store. It is my pleasure to announce that search ads are coming soon to the Shopify App Store. Now, this is a new and effective way to get your app in front of merchants in that crucial moment when they're typing in their search query to look for the right app to solve their business problems and capture new opportunities. Now, we focused on search because that's what merchants are mostly doing on the App Store. Keep in mind that this is still a work in progress, but we wanted to give you all a sneak peek today so you can better plan ahead. Since launching the new App Store last year, we really zoned in on our data, and we saw that 75% of all search traffic goes to the top 3 search results. That means that if you're not ranking on top for your keywords, you're missing out on like a significant amount of traffic. And we all know how hard it is to rank on top organically. It takes a lot of time and effort. Even if you are ranking on top, for some of your keywords, you might not be for other keywords that you might not even know about and will want to capture. Running search ads is a great way to get your app that boosts and installs very fast and also help your app grow its organic ranking through that boost. Regardless of how big your business is, running search ads could just become one of the most effective ways of using your marketing budget. Now, in the early days of our research, we sent out a survey and we got amazing responses back. Super detailed questions, amazing feedback. And what was most interesting was that so many of you were already familiar and very experienced with running ads. on platforms like Facebook or Google. We believe that your highest quality leads and possibly your most cost-effective leads are merchants already on the App Store. So why not advertise to them directly? They're already in the right frame of mind. Okay, let's dive in and take a look at what ads will look like. So say Sally searches for product photos as the search term. Behind the scenes, an auction takes place where we ask advertisers, hey, who wants to bid for the opportunity to show their ad to Sally in this very moment? For the search term, product photos for Sally. Now, those who are interested will reply back with their bid for Sally's click, and those who win will get to show their ad to Sally in this very moment. This means that price is determined by competition. But it's not always those that pay the most that win. We took a look at signals to see how relevant the app is. For example, the last app will not get to show its ad because it's not relevant enough, even though they outbid everybody at $2 a click. Okay, let's take a look at this from an app developer's perspective. You're probably all familiar with this screen, except that when we launch, you'll notice a new section called Ads under Apps inside your partner's dashboard. Let's go ahead and click Create Ad. Now imagine I have an app called Photobug, Product Photos. This is a photo editing app. If I had more than one app, I would just select from the dropdown which app I want to use for my ad. In this case, let's pick Photobug. Next, I want to give my ad a name so I can remember what the goal was for this ad. In this case, I want to discover as many converting keywords as I can right now. So I'll call this keyword discovery for simplicity. Next, I'm going to enter a daily budget. I'll put $100. I think that's pretty good to start with, and it'll pace my ad spends. This way I won't be surprised by my bill later. Now that the basics are done, I'm going to enter keywords. This is the meat of my ad. Now, because I integrated my Google Analytics tracking ID, I can see all the data that Shopify sends me on what keywords are driving traffic to my listing today. So enter those to start. Keywords have two match types, broad or exact. I will use broad if I want to target variations or phrases containing my keyword. I will use exact if I want to target keywords exactly as I entered them. So for example, if I had an exact match on product image, even the plural form product images would not trigger bidding for my ad unless I have some kind of keyword that captures that plural form. Now, because this is a keyword discovery ad, I'm going to leave everything as broad to begin with and go from there. After I've entered my keywords, I also want to enter negative keywords. Now, negative keywords are very important to optimize my ad spend so that I don't bid on things that are not going to convert from my app or not convert at a cost per acquisition that I'm happy with. So imagine that my app doesn't do image filters. What I'm going to do is enter the word filter as a broad match negative keyword. This way, whenever somebody searches anything with the word filter in it, it's not going to trigger bidding for my ad, since my app has nothing to do with filters. At the bottom of the screen, I get to see a preview of my ad. And I notice that the only difference between this and my organic result is that little ad icon where we explicitly indicate to merchants that an app developer paid for this ad. I also noticed that the metadata is exactly the same between my ad and my organic result. This is the title, short description, and icon. That's why it's very important to keep these optimized. Okay, let's go ahead and start my ad. Imagine that some time has passed and my ad ran, got me some results. I can quickly see that I spent $108, got 17 installs, and I can see my cost per install, which is that's the number that I care about the most. I'm at $6.35 per install. Now, I think that's pretty damn good, especially because this is just a keyword discovery ad. If I want to optimize, I know I can drive that number to be much lower. I'll take those numbers and understand it with the rest. I see the scale that I ran the ad for was 659 impressions, which got me 72 clicks at a click-through rate of 10.9%. Now, that's a really good click-through rate, but it could be higher. And I'll come back to it later, because I have some ideas to increase that. But for now, I want to focus on this 23.6% installation rate. That's a really good installation rate, but I know that if I spend my effort here, I'll reap huge rewards down the road. So I'll brainstorm a list of things to test. For example, my price, my keywords and negative keywords used in my ad, as well as my app listing, the words that I use in my app listing, how I communicate my value proposition, as well as my backend, essentially my end-to-end conversion funnel. That was just a quick summary, so let's click in to see the details of the ad. Now on this screen, what I want to focus on the most is the performance of each individual keyword. As I scroll down, I quickly notice that I have some very high-performing keywords that are getting me results that I'm happy with. Getting installs at a cost per acquisition, that seems really good. I'll leave those running. If I want to scale, I might increase my bid later to get more clicks and installs. But for the time being, I want to focus on 3 keywords that are not getting me any installs. Resize photo, crop photo, and image. Now, resize photo and crop photo, I can see they have potential because they're getting me impressions and clicks at a click-through rate that's pretty good to start with. But I also noticed that I don't have high enough impressions for me to know anything. So I'll leave those running to gather more data so I can come back to it and make a better decision later. Now, the keyword image, on the other hand, is meant to be super generic. So I'm not surprised by this 0.5% click-through rate. Plus, I only spent $1.50 so far. So I'll also let that keep running to gather more data because it can help me discover image-related keywords as I go on. What I want to focus on the most is this search term report. Now, this is a super crucial report where I can actually see exactly what merchants typed in that triggered my ad. So I noticed that edit product images is a keyword or is a search term that matched my keyword of product image on broad match. And it's getting me really good results. I'm really happy with that, so I'm going to add that as an exact match keyword to my ad. Now, I add that as an exact match because I think that for that keyword, an exact match has less competition. So as time goes on, I'll run my ad, come back to this periodically to check my results, analyze them, and then tweak and optimize. During times that I want to scale, I might focus on increasing my impressions, clicks, and installs. During times that I'm pretty happy with my growth, I'll want to decrease my cost per acquisition. Hope you all really enjoy seeing this demo. We're super excited about what you guys will do next. In the meantime, what you can do is set up your Google Analytics tracking ID in your app listing submission form. This will allow you to get all that data that Shopify sends you on what keywords are currently driving traffic to your listing today. After you've done that, we recommend you do keyword research. There are many online tools to help you do that, and doing so will allow you to expand your fishing net of related keywords that is relevant to your app. Doing all of this will help you all stay prepared, so when we release search ads, you can hit the ground running right away. Now, Mladen and I are both super passionate about helping you all grow and get to the next frontier in your business. So let's recap. Reply to reviews to build trust with merchants and really make them feel the presence of that amazing team behind your app. Expand your reach globally by localizing your app listings and your app, or better yet, create new apps in markets that you know Shopify is going into. And lastly, prepare for advertising so that you can stay ahead of the game and get that early adopter advantage. Now, great things are happening on the Shopify App Store, so it's really important that you stay ahead and up to date. We send out emails whenever we have something important to announce. We also send out the App Store newsletter, so keep an eye out and follow along. Now, the Shopify App Store has come a long way in the last year, and we're only going up from here. So come, join us in our journey ahead and take advantage of all the opportunities available to you today and up ahead. Thank you for listening to our talk. Now I'd like to open up the floor for Q&A.
Oh, yeah. And if anyone has any questions, go into the Unite app and there's an Ask a Questions button there, so you can ask us any questions and we'll be Reading from those ones. All right, I'll start with the first one, and this one's for you, John. Ads. Any fraud detection to avoid competitors clicking on your ad and wasting your budget?
Yes. The quick answer is yes. Exactly how we do it, we can detect spiders. We can also detect bots. And we're working on something that's better than the current ways that we're detecting them.
Second question. What would you suggest in replying to reviews which are false or relevant information? So for those ones, replying to reviews gives you now a voice that you haven't had before. So this is a great opportunity for you to engage in what the merchants are saying. Even in some of these scenarios, you can thank the merchants, but see, are they using the right app? Is it the right app? And calling it out as well that, this might not be the right app, or this information is not true. These are things that we don't do. So that way, being respectful, courteous, professional, and all the things that I mentioned before can let future merchants see your response to what others have said. Can we have app listing UTM parameters be sent on install webhooks so we can attribute specific installs to our marketing efforts? I can take this one on as well. So right now, as John was mentioning, the Google Analytics tracking code, you can put into your app submission form. We then fire an event every time that someone comes to your listing or they click the install add app button. We are looking at ways and giving you more information around where clicks come from, how an install happens, and all of that. So these are things that we will be looking into in the future. All right.
I can add to that too.
Yeah.
So for ads, I know a lot of people have asked about UTM parameters as well. So that's something that's on the backlog to consider for sure.
For ads and keywords, are there any plans to not only focus on installs but also retention?
Not at the moment. I know some people have given great feedback about being able to differentiate between like the definition of conversion, right? So right now the definition of conversion is an install, but sometimes they have a free trial, for example. So they want to be able to differentiate a free trial install versus a post-trial install. So that's something that is obviously a lot more complicated to do. Likely, well, we've already have that in the backlog, but likely we'll probably launch with just installs and take a look at that further.
Awesome. Question that's popping up with creates search and search algorithms changed big time recently. What factors should we take into consideration to maintain a high organic rating? So Shinny and Joey are going to be doing a talk on search and personalization tomorrow as well. So that's another talk I would recommend that you go and listen to. Not going to give any major spoilers away, but again, like just making sure that you guys are building the high quality apps that you have today are things that we would recommend in general. But listen to their talk tomorrow. Will we be able to target stores based on AOV or Shopify plan? I'm assuming that might be for
probably ads, right?
For ads, yeah.
So targeting is a huge topic. I think targeting was probably the number one topic that we got the most amount of questions and feedback from, and requests, obviously. Targeting, so keyword targeting, you already saw. Other targeting, currently being prioritized. But if you have, I think that there's a pattern to the type of targeting that people want to be able to do. So, but if you have more feedback about ideas and such, definitely talk to me afterwards.
Sorry, the questions are jumping, so I'm just trying to choose one. The most earning apps that are already on the top of the search results have the biggest budgets. How would you recommend smaller apps to be on the top of the listing?
Just for ads?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a really good question. I think that's something that even internally, before we began working on this, we thought about a lot. But if you take a look at other platforms, obviously there's in business, right? It's competition. You have people with more budget, but how do you compete with them with a smaller budget? I think there are unique ways. Otherwise, only the big players will be around. For example, you notice that we don't just tell you all the keywords right away, like everything that people are searching. So through how you choose to advertise, you can possibly discover things that your competitors have not discovered. You can also run your ads in many ways, through bidding, through just spending more effort on optimizing. That's how generally a smaller player with a smaller budget can win against a larger player who might not be spending as much effort.
Any future plans to support Facebook Pixel? So that's one of the pixels that we don't support yet. It is something that we've heard the feedback about, and we are considering it. What's your take on translating, example in Germany, an app, but not providing support in German? This is a very interesting question, and when you go into the new app listing submission form, you are going to notice that there is a checkbox to ask you, do you provide support in that language? So we'd strongly recommend that you do, but we understand that that might be a barrier and you want to test some things out. So that is something that is optional. We are, however, letting merchants know which languages that you provide support in. Can we restrict we talked about advanced or plus stores. I think we talked. How will we get billed for our ads? Through our app earnings or credit card?
It'll be through credit card.
Are we going to be able to target locations for the ads?
I'm getting a signal from Christopher. I think maybe one last question.
Yeah.
Locations, that's on the top of the list of the type of targeting that we're going to prioritize by country.
Awesome. I think that's all the time that we have. Thank you again for coming out.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll see you around. Enjoy your night.
We'll be outside.